I'm going to stuff a piece of lemon sole with crawfish. It's almost like etouffee, but thick, stuffing, rolled in panko breadcrumbs, and baked. First thing is we saute the Holy Trinity. That's the celery, onions, and green pepper. The addition of some garlic. And they call it that because in Louisiana, the Creoles and the Cajun recipes, almost all of them have this in it. And this is what makes the food so tasty. So we're going to saute this. Let this start. So while we're sauteing this, you can get a little color on this. It doesn't have to be clear. Put some sea salt. Remember, everything has to be seasoned. Even the fish when we stuff it. A little cayenne pepper. If you want to use black pepper, go ahead. I think cayenne works so good. In the back I have some already hot fish stock. Because this crawfish needs a lot of help. Since it came from China instead of Louisiana. Even if you purchase the crawfish online, you might think it's a product of Louisiana. Sure, maybe it was packaged there, but it came from China. And it'll show that on the package. So when they're in season, you could probably get the good stuff from down there. But the demand is so great that they're just importing it like crazy from China. So we'll let this cook a little bit. While that's cooking, I'm going to coat the outside of the fish with egg. But this time I'm just using egg white, so I'm going to whip this up a little so it gets just a little bit foamy. So this way we don't have to use the egg yolk. But you can put a whole egg if you want. Just trying to get away from that egg yolk thing. That'll be good. I'll paint this on the salmon later and put the panko breadcrumbs. I mean the lemon sole, not the salmon. Well, that's good enough. So we're going to put in the fish stock. And a tablespoon of crushed tomato. And a tablespoon of fresh lemon juice to go along with that. Nice piece of lemon sole. And now we're going to thicken this up quite a bit with that dark roux. And the roux is very hot, so it easily works in with the sauce. I mean with the stock. to make this thick sauce. And we'll taste this, and as soon as it's thick, I'm going to add the crawfish. So you have to look at the recipe how to make the roux. And if you don't want to make the roux, you can always thicken this with Wondra or just a regular roux. But this roux imparts a nice nutty flavor, which makes the dish. That's plenty thick. Now the crawfish has some juice in it. From the packaging, so that's going to thin that out a little. But what it doesn't have is the fat that the good frozen crawfish tail meat has, which I had used many years ago quite often. So as long as it's thick like this, we'll wait a couple of minutes to allow this to heat up well, because that crawfish is cooked, but it's not hot. When you're fooling around with seafood, everything has to be the right temperature, or else it goes sour and you go sick. So we're going to put this on a plate. Place it in the refrigerator, let it get ice cold. I'll put the scallions in there now. And reserve some of the scallions. Not reserve, this is the scallions for the mix. Then we're going to put some scallions later over the fish when we present it. And also, there'll be stuffing left over here, which is going to go on the plate. See, this is enough to stuff 2 pieces of fish easily, with a little bit left over just to put on the plate so people can see what the crawfish look like before they cut into the lemon sole. Now you give it a taste. As usual, a little salt only. And the cayenne pepper, as it goes down your throat, you get a little bite. If you like it hotter, that's fine. Since this is for me, I'm allowed to lick the spoon and then put the spoon back in. Normally I have the spoon, regular metal spoons, lying right next to it, or my finger. And I change the finger every 5 minutes. It's missing one thing. Alcohol. I'm going to put a tablespoon of sherry in there. Nice dry sherry. That'll bring a notch. And a drop more of roux. This has to be very thick. We don't want this running out of the side of the fish. It has to stay in there. And this will be thicker when it's colder. But as you see how thick that is? That's how it has to be. So if you put this on a plate and served it to somebody right now with rice, in like 2-3 minutes it would look like wallpaper paste. And this roux doesn't have to cook long in something at all, because that roux takes over a half hour to cook. Okay, that's it. See the thickness? Done. Now we're going to cool it off and wait. We'll season the fish. A little salt and pepper. Use whatever pepper you like. I'm still using cayenne. And I'm going to put some thyme. This is the outside of the fish. Thyme goes well with a lot of Cajun style cooking. And we turn it over and we season this a little bit with salt. Now we'll put the stuffing, and this is plenty of stuffing to do at least 4 pieces like this, with leftover for the sauce. So now I have my very thin skewers, because I'm only cooking 1 piece. If we were cooking like 4 or 5 pieces, you could jam them tight together and nothing's going to move. But that's not the case here, so I don't want this to open. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a skewer in there, another one in here. Most likely it won't open, but just in case. Now the top, going to brush with the egg white. And then after the egg white, I'm going to sprinkle the panko breadcrumbs all over this. Easily you can make 3 of these. You can either roll it or sprinkle it. I'm just going to keep my hand over here. And then I'm going to drizzle a little bit of, it's up to you, olive oil or butter, whatever you prefer. I'll sprinkle a little olive oil or butter. This will help the panko breadcrumbs brown nicely. Preheat the oven at 375, 400 if it's not a convection oven. and we're going to cook it. To this small amount of filling, we're going to add a little half and half or light cream. And if you were making this for 3 people, you would have just a drop more filling, and you would add the heavy cream. This will thin it out. And now, after a stuffing, now it becomes a sauce. And you might have to add just a pinch of salt. We kind of diluted it, but cream doesn't dilute the same as water does. Kind of holds the flavor. So there you have the sauce, which I'm going to put on the plate and sit the fish on top, because you never put sauce on top of breading. And we'll just wait. We'll heat that up again later. The consistency will be good. And now we'll go about baking off the fish. 22 minutes later, 20 to 25 minutes, we're done. So put the sauce on the plate. That's plenty. Put the fish on top, leaving room for whatever else is going on the plate. And then garnish with some scallions. And there you go. Now we got to taste this. Very hot. And the fish works well with the stuffing. Enjoy.